Speak, Lord, speak to me. Speak, my Lord. I lay awake at night. That's alright. I know Jesus, He will fix it. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Tiara Griffin. If you don't know, now you know. I am glad that you decided to come back one more time on this beautiful Sunday to come and hear what I have to talk about. That's very important to me. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all of my new subscribers. Just to let you know, we have increased to over 127 subscribers. We have increased 127 subscribers since last month. So thank you guys to all of my new subscribers. Thanks to all of my old subscribers that have been rocking with me since I got on this channel. I really appreciate you guys. We're on the road to 250. Can you help me get to 250 by May 31st? You can? This is what you gotta do. All you gotta do is go tell a friend to come check out my channel. If they're anything like you, this is about kingdom-minded young millennials who grew up without a father, all in the same place. Us collabing ideas, us working together, us pushing the kingdom. This is where you want to be. I am your girl, Tiara Griffin. Again, I am your life builder. I am here to help you tear up, build up so you can live it up. If you want to create the life that you love while living and remaining totally submitted to Jesus Christ, this is the channel for you. There is nowhere else you need to look. Come on, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe now before we get into this story time video. I'm just waiting for you to subscribe. Look at my notes while you're doing that. You subscribed yet? Yeah? Okay. Let's get into this video. Okay, so I got my notes here just in case. I don't want to forget anything. This is how important what I have to say to you is. So I have my little notes for us to discuss something. So I wasn't the girl to just sleep within anybody. This is going to be a very transparent video, and I hope that it reaches your heart, and I hope that it causes some incitement to change, to grow, to develop, and to not look at me and be offended, but look at me and be challenged that if I can do it, you can do it as well. So I wasn't the girl that just slept with anybody. I had standards, and I only slept with a certain type. Like, I didn't sleep with a bunch of people, but I'm just letting you know. It was a certain type that I was looking for, and if you wasn't that type, boy, bye, okay? So I wanted a certain type, and it was always a certain time frame. I was Megan Good in the movie Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. I was your girl. I was like, listen, I can't sleep with you for 90 days. And you know what? That also weaned out a lot of people. But that was not God's way. That was Steve Harvey's way. But had a little 90-day rule. And yeah, little 90-day rule. And I felt like my 90-day rule was popping. I felt like that's where it was. Like when I made a guy wait 90 days, I felt accomplished. Like I was going after some award. And the award was entitled, I wanted a boyfriend. I wanted a relationship. I wanted a title. I realized after being in my situationships that I would do, whatever just to be accepted. I wanted to feel love. How many of you ever felt abandoned, ever felt rejected, ever felt like there's no God that wants you? And maybe if I sleep with him or give him the best part of me, he'll be willing to search for everything else that I am. It doesn't happen like that. Well, not for me, it didn't. And I felt validated when I waited 90 days. Like, oh, I waited. I'm not like all the other girls because the other girls are giving it up to them like this. But I was going to make them wait. And it made me feel validated. But I didn't realize in me giving it up that I didn't always get what I wanted. Who else has been there? That's you. I'm glad we can relate. That's why you on this channel. Go get your sister. Go get your friends. Like, tell them, come on and come talk to your girl. Like, I'm down. And I am very relatable, okay? So, in my last situationship, I enjoyed the thrill. Now, let's just be real honest. I'm a beautiful girl, okay? So, there's nothing I can do about that. But I also, in my beautifulness, didn't know my value. I didn't know who I was. So, I rode the roller coaster time after time. You know that roller coaster, the roller coaster that says, I'm going to chase the ones that don't want me, but I'm going to chase away the ones that don't, or the ones that do. So I chased the ones that didn't want me, but I chased away the ones who did. I didn't value good guys, good men. The good guy, I didn't want the good guy. I wanted the guy that did not want me, because I don't want to explain it on this video, but just know it's a real thing, and you can be delivered from that, and you are delivered from that by knowing your value, okay? And in my last situationship, the guy would always like put me up on this pedestal, and it was mainly because I had a longer relationship with God than he did. So he really he had me on this very, very, very high pedestal. But then he would like also make references and ask me questions like, if the right girl comes into my life, I'll know, right? And I'll look at him. Then I look at me. I'm right here. Like, what right girl are you looking for? Like, I am the right girl. And I would do whatever I had to do to prove to him that I was the right girl. When guys would tell me what they wanted in women and their exes, I would take all of that and I would become the woman that they wanted. I would mold myself to be the image of the woman that he wanted, instead of being the image and the woman that God died for me to be. So that's my first note, which isn't the takeaway that I want to give you. But my first note is, you cannot change, or you cannot create a man in your mind and try to materialize him before you. Women, you cannot create a man in your mind. And men, you cannot create the woman in front of you to be like the woman that's in your mind. Your head spouse is not real. Your head spouse is this perfect person that is a culmination of all the women and the men that you've dated. She cannot materialize. He cannot materialize. So you have to get rid of that expectation. And ladies, stop trying to become the woman that he's drawn in his head. You will never reach her, because she does not exist. She's not real. And another thing, I'm going to just go ahead and throw this in it because I'm feeling this in my heart. We have these expectations for men. We have this long list of 20 things that we want this man to be. What is it? Flash news alert or whatever. Alert. Listen, sometimes all the things that you want in a man, some things have to be developed as he grows into becoming more and more of the man that God wants him to be. You're not going to get everything on your list at first. Debate me. Okay? So, also in that, do not ignore the signs that a man is giving you. Stop seeing what you want to see, ladies, and stop hearing what you want to hear. If you go out with the man, he tells you, I just want a friend and I don't want a relationship, that means just that. There is no reading in between the lines. There isn't picking up on context clues. This is not Blue's Clues. Sister, he is telling you exactly what he wants. He does not want a relationship and he just wants a friend. And in that case, you leave him right there and you go on about your life. You don't ever wait for no man. If you've never seen my video about Sister Now We Waiting, go check that out below. Okay? So, let me tell you real quick about the story. So, when I moved back from Chicago, when I lived in Chicago, I had no convictions. I didn't want to hear about God. I didn't pray to God. I didn't want to ask God about the relationship. I didn't ask God to bless it. I didn't ask God to curse it. I didn't ask God for anything when it came to that relationship. I wasn't even praying to God at all. I wanted God to make it better, but I wasn't going to pray to him because I knew he didn't want me to be in it. So when I came back home from Chicago, me and God rekindled our relationship and ended up meeting a guy at church. Disclaimer, just because he go to church does not mean that he's all that he's cracked up to be. Okay? The ones in the church be the worst ones. Sorry, not sorry. Anyways, so we were both pursuing God like crazy. He was just now coming into the faith, and I was coming from a backslidden state. So instead of focusing on God, we were focusing on each other. We ended up having them late night conversations because we were trying to be pure. We wanted to be holy. We wanted to remain sexually pure until we got married if we were the ones for each other. But we would have those fire conversations, those ones that sound something like, So now you're going to bring that conversation up from last night? Boy, what you had on last night, you would look so good. I was like, yes, babe. Listen, if we was doing it, okay, the things I was going to do to you, if we was doing it, you was going to do what? Where? Now, that's my sweet spot. I'm trying to stay saved, boy.
Like,
those kind of conversations, those late night conversations, those late night visits to each other's house, thinking, oh, we can maintain and be strong, but the attraction was so high. Used to, hold each other long and all that other stuff. But when desire is conceived, it brings forth sin. And when sin is fully matured, it brings forth death. It all started with the thought. And we ended up falling. We ended up falling into sin, and we ended up having sex. And I wasn't crushed. Like, honestly, my first thought wasn't, oh God, please forgive me. My first thought was, is he going to stop liking me? Remember, I told you prior, I didn't have much value in myself. I really thought waiting 90 days was considered my value. That's what I thought. I thought if I could hold out, that gives me some kind of worth. But what gives you worth is a man committing to you. You deserve a commitment, sister. Okay, but let's go back. But I was just like, I wonder if he's going to stop talking to me now. I wonder if this is going to be like all the rest of the relationships that I've been in where guys left after we, slept together. Or they weren't into me as much anymore because, one, I ignored all the signs when he told me he didn't want a relationship. And I thought I can change him. And all of that good stuff or bad stuff or whatever. So I initiated it and I pretty much deceived myself thinking I was strong when we weren't. And we messed up. And I'm going to read this to you. The reason I repented was because he stopped talking to me, and there was no one but me for me to turn to but God. And God told me if he stuck around, I would have had no remorse because I did wrong, but still got to keep what I wanted. That God was like, that's like stealing from the store, getting caught, and then you get to still keep the stolen goods. It's not happening. So God literally moved him out of my life. Like, he moved him out of my life because I had no remorse as long as he was there. Because I got to keep my stolen goods after I got caught. That's not how it happens. So we started talking again. I'm not exactly sure how. Then we fell in again. And we fell again. And the third time I was like, yo, buddy, we can't fall no more. Like, you say you love God. I'm saying I love God. And I feel like as being the more mature person in Christ, I'm allowing you to follow. You got me on a pedestal. So we can't do this no more. So we made up in our minds we would not have sex. We threw away all of our condoms. Anything that would cause us to stumble and fall, we threw it all away, right? So one night I went to a birthday dinner and he asked me to come over and I was like, sure. I'm in my mind, like, seriously, y'all, sisters, in my mind, I was like, nothing is going down. And I really, really, really meant that. So I go to his house and it went from the couch to the bedroom. And in the bedroom, I got my clothes off. Right? It wasn't fully naked, but I had my dress off or whatever. And I prayed and I said, God, for the first time in forever, I really want to please you. I don't want to have sex tonight and I don't want to disappoint him either. Please provide me a way to escape. Not 60 seconds later, he pulled out a condom. I was highly disrespected because I felt like, did you have condoms because you knew I was coming over? Or did you have condoms because you were already doing something while I wasn't here? And I was like, it doesn't even really matter. Hand me my dress off that floor. Handed me my dress. And I left. Because I already knew I didn't want to do this no more. I couldn't lose myself again. And I could not disappoint God yet again. I was tired of repenting. And repenting is not saying, God, I'm sorry. Repenting is saying, God, listen, I'm turning away from this thing. I'm going to put in place the right boundaries and the right boundaries and fences around this thing so that I don't keep falling into this thing. Repenting is turning away from and going the other direction. I knew when I repented that last time, that was it. I was not falling. So I ended up leaving his house and I was like, I want a relationship. I'm tired of sleeping with these men and not getting the relationship. I'm tired of giving it up and not getting what I want out of the deal, right? So this was the last rendezvous before I said I do, because I don't know if I told you the story, but I got married to God and I have not looked back since. Whoop, whoop, whoop. We're 2 years in. If I can do it, you can do it too. And so I want to just give you some tips. Some guys will say, I don't want a relationship, but they still want to sleep with you. He ain't about you like he say he's about you, because if he was, he would take you off the market. And he will respect your purity enough to say, you know what, you are a very special girl to me. I'm not going to do with you what I did to all these other women. I'm going to protect your purity, because that's something that God would want me to do. Okay? So my takeaways. So how, if you're in a transition, if you want to transition into being sexually pure, what do you have to do? Number one, you must get lust under control. If you play with fire, you will get burned. You have to set forth the proper boundaries and the proper procedures and the proper fences around this thing that keeps causing you to fall. If there's a hole right there and you walk in blindly, I need you to put up the things that are around you that's going to stop you from falling into that same hole that you keep falling into. Make up in your mind, I will not have sex until I get married. Say it with me. I will not have sex until I get married. And continue to recite that to yourself every day until you break that stronghold that makes you think in your mind, because I'm in a relationship, I'm supposed to have sex. No. Because I'm in a marriage, I'm supposed to have sex. Take sex off the table as an option. Just like how people get married and they say divorce is not an option. In marriage, divorce is not an option. In your singleness, sex is not an option. You have to put everything in place so that sex does not become what you fall into. Sex is not something that you want. Sex leads you to a lot of heartbreak, and it leads you into being in situations longer than you are supposed to. You sitting there drinking rotten and stale milk because you still drinking it after expiration date and it has no benefits. My God, somebody say amen to that. And you can remain sexually pure. Why? Because I have been sexually pure for 2 years. I have a friend that has been sexually pure for 5 years. And this year, September, she is getting married after 5 years. So don't tell me it can't be done. And if you want help as your sister, please email me. I will put my email in the description below. Number 2, allow God to give you the desires of your heart. I did not know that God was going to turn even what I wanted in a man, my desires for a man. I didn't know that he was going to change all of that in me. God definitely gave me his desires, and I stopped attracting the man that my old me wanted because God changed me. He gave me the desires of his heart, and And so now I don't attract the men that I once attracted when I was in college and before. I'm attracting men that love God, that want a relationship with God. Like, these are the men that I'm now open to. And it's an acquired taste when you're going for something new. Like, when you didn't like broccoli before, broccoli is good for you, right? So at first you're like, ew, this is nasty. However, it's an acquired taste, and God is trying to get you on a new level to want new things, because you are a queen, baby. And we don't date peasants no more. I'm not saying nobody is a peasant. I'm just letting you know, level up, sis. Level up, okay? Number 3, pursue God. Pursue God like crazy, okay? There was a man that told me, I want my wife to love God more than she loves me. That's a powerful statement, because if she loves God more than she loves you, she's going to do you right. She's going to be faithful to you. She's going to submit to you as unto Christ. It's going to be a beautiful union. Men. Yes, women. You want a man that's going to love God more than he loves you, because if he loves God more than you, he's going to have self-conviction, and he's not going to do all of these crazy things that other men have done to you, because his allegiance is to a higher power. His allegiance is to the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. His allegiance is to your Father. And a man that wants to constantly please your Father is going to do you right. Are you hearing me, sis? Hear me, sis. Hear me, sis. Okay? So let's talk about that one more time. So the 3 things in order to be sexually pure, you want to, 1, get your lust under control. How do you get your lust under control? You do that by allowing God to give you the desires of your heart. Sister, if you want more information on that, comment below and say, yeah, give me more. Give me more. Tell me more. Give me more. Let me know if you want a video on that, or you want me to break down how to really allow God to give you the desires of your heart. So get lust under control. Allow God to give you the desires of your heart. And lastly, pursue God. So when you pursue God and you want God more than you want anything else, and more than you want a husband, he'll start giving you the desires of your heart. And you'll start wanting what he wants for you. And your whole desire, the whole appetite you had for certain men is going to completely change. You'll go from eating oodles of noodles, to eating steak on a plate. Okay, I'm talking about Al's Steakhouse and not Applebee's, baby. Okay. And then after you allow God to give you the desires of your heart, you will get lust under control. True. After my last situationship, I wanted better. So I decided to do better. What I had to learn was, in order to break the cycle, I had to do something different. 1 + 1 will always be 2. And until you change one of the ingredients that you're putting in, you'll never change the output of what you're getting out. Okay? Hello. So stop settling for sex and never commitment. You are so much worth. You are so much more. Your worth is so much more than 90 days. Your worth is to be sexually pure until God causes your union and confirms it and y'all get married. That's when you should give it up, okay? No more accepting the sentence and the phrase from men, I don't want a relationship, but I want to lay down with you. Boy, bye. So that is all for today. I'm glad you stayed around to watch this video. I hope it was really, really great. Go tell your sister, tell your friends, bring your godly men that want to level up, women that want to level up, anybody, and help me reach our goal of 250 by May 31st. I'm pumping out some more videos. I got a video next week with a special guest, so make sure you stay tuned, and I'll be back next Sunday. Love you. I can see a lot of people being confused. I can see a lot of people with a lot of questions. And I know one thing for sure. God is not the author